guys. I am. I'm proud of y'all. Easter's awesome. Easter is always this great Sunday in the church world. And then the Sunday after Easter is always a little disappointing. Do you know it's one of the least attended Sundays of the year? It's because everybody comes Easter, and then some people are like, oh, we went last week. We're good, you know? And then the next week's always a little disappointing. But y'all did good. Really good. Not as good as the 8:30 service, but y'all did pretty good. So give yourself a round of applause for that backhanded compliment there. Okay, guys, this question is for the guys. How many of the guys here love romantic movies? You got a couple of guys that'll admit it. You know, there's some others that deep down, you love them, right?
Yes.
I got to admit, I'm not a huge fan of romantic movies, but there was a time where Emily's like, Tim, I've gone to see every Marvel movie with you. I went to see the new Star Wars. Tonight, we're going to watch something romantic. And so I got all ready, got the popcorn, like I'm going to take one for the team, sat down. She turned something on, but she didn't turn the romantic movie on. And I was like, honey, I thought we were going to watch something romantic. And she said, why? I don't want to watch something that I'm never going to have. That was tough, but no, they're okay. Guys, I speak for all of us when I say I felt like we were duped with the movie Titanic. Remember? We watched the previews of the movie Titanic. We're like, whoa, this big disaster movie, the special effects. It felt like a real big guy movie going into it. I was excited about it. Sat down in the theater, and I was like, this is basically a chick flick with a disaster built around it, right? It's a romantic movie. And for us guys who may not like romantic movies, it was like 17 hours long. We were trapped. We were there. And then they get to the end, and you've got, what's his name? Dawson? Is that his name? Oh, Jack Dawson. Yeah, Jack. Jack and Rose. And they're in the water, and they're freezing. It's really cold in that water. And Rose is on the little floating door, and Rose is looking at Jack, and Jack looks up and goes, Rose, I want you to live. I want you to live on. I want you to do everything. I want you to do this. I want you to ride roller coasters, and I want you to ride horses, and I want you to do all these amazing things. And Rose is like, okay, I'll do it for you, Jack. I'll never let go. I'll never let go, Jack. Never let go. And 2 seconds later, she let go of him. Bye, Jack. See you later. Man. And you know, the worst part about that whole thing is there was room on the door. Y'all thinking there's room. I mean, why not let Jack up there? But, I digress. We love these movies. It's crazy. You ever see that movie where, like, there's 2 people that are running and they're trying to get to somewhere before it's too late, and they only have a certain amount of time, and one of them at the last second gets through the door before it closes, but there's another one that's left on the other side trapped, and it's over, right? Because it's filling up with water or something like that, and there's nothing you can do. And so the person on the other side tells that person all of the words that they want them to hear, you know, because this is the last time they're going to get to talk. And so you tell all the important stuff in that last moment. On a more serious note, we've all heard the stories of 9/11. It's been years now, but it still feels like it hasn't been that long. Where the people were trapped in the buildings, they were trapped in the top floors, and you know, some of them were able to get a call out to a loved one, and they knew there was no way of going down. The only way of going down was jumping, and some people did do that. Now, there's nowhere to go. And so they knew they only had a few minutes. And so they would pick up the phone and they would make that phone call. I just want you to think, what would you say? What would you say in the moment where you know that the words that you say are going to be remembered to your family forever? I wonder what I would say. You know, I mean, if I'm talking to Emily, I'm in the airplane, the plane's about to go down. I'm like, Emily, what am I going to say? This is the message I want you to pass on to my kids. I'm going to get real serious, right? I'm not going to make jokes. I'm not going to say, hey, tell HUD to really spin that slider. No, that's That doesn't matter. Tell Solomon, hey, I really want you to focus in school. I want you to do this. No, we're going to tell him the most important thing. Most important thing. I'm going to say, Emily, I want you to tell my kids the most important thing is your faith. The most important thing is Jesus. Without Jesus, everything else is pointless in life. I know it's going to be rough. I know it's going to be hard. There's going to be some times where you want to give up. But it all comes back to Jesus. What would you say? What are the most important words that would be remembered forever? This is the situation that Jesus finds himself in. You know, he's not dying. He's already died. He's been there, done that. But he's about to ascend into heaven. He's about to be gone. He's about to leave his followers on earth. And so right before he ascends into heaven, he tells them the most important thing. He doesn't give them another rule. He doesn't say, well, in this situation, I want you to do this, or make sure these people aren't doing this, or whatever. No. The most important thing right before he goes to heaven. You will be my witnesses in Jerusalem, in Judea, in Samaria, and even to the ends of the earth. You will be my witnesses. Now, the best part of that statement, to me, as a pastor, not to you, the best part of that statement is the word will. You will be his witnesses. Yeah. You thought you had a choice, didn't you? Some of you thought you had a choice. Some of you thought, when you joined a church, that there are a group of probably like 10 or 11 people as a part of this church, and they are the evangelism team. They're the ones that are being witnesses for Jesus out in the community of Bandera. And you know what? You'll be a greeter. Maybe you'll work with the youth ministry. Maybe you'll do this. Maybe you'll do that. But they have a team of people who are going to be the witnesses that are going to do the evangelism. You don't have to do that because you're an introvert. You haven't been trained on that. You don't have the skills for that. But there's a team that'll do that. But Jesus says, no. You, not just a couple over there. No, you will be my witnesses in all of those places. You don't have a choice. If you are a Christian, the last words of Jesus before he takes off is that you will be his witnesses. You don't have a choice. This isn't a question. Jesus isn't like, well, Bubba, do you feel like being my witness today? No. There's no choice. And so how does he tell us how to do it? He says, first, go to Jerusalem. And you can read a lot about this, in the books and stuff, because this is the Great Commission. This is a very important thing. There's a lot been written on it. So people will look at this stuff and they'll say, okay, why did he pick these 4 things? Start with Jerusalem. What does that mean to us? Jerusalem is the holy center. It's the center of everything. A lot of people look at it like your family. Before you start going to Congo, maybe your brother needs to know Jesus. Maybe your grandmother needs to know Jesus. Your holy center. Maybe even looking at it as it's the church. It's our church. There's a lot of churches that will work, and I've been at them, and there's a lot of churches that will work really, really, really hard to try to reach people, and that is what we're supposed to do, right? But while we're spending all of our energy and our money and everything trying to reach people, we lose 10 people that are already coming, right? We have to take care of the center. We have to take care of the holy center, Jerusalem, the church, the family. And then Jesus says, go to Judah. What does Judah represent? It's the community. Judah was the community that Jerusalem was located in. So Judah is really where we're going to focus and what we're talking about. Judah is Bandera County. That's where we focus. That's where most of our energy should go. There are so many people in Bandera County that do not have a healthy relationship with Jesus. Even if they've been saved at some point in their life, they're not having a healthy relationship. They're like orphans, kind of. They're homeless Christians is the way I like to call them. Maybe they're Christians, but they're homeless. They don't have a community of faith that will be there for them when something bad happens. They don't have people that will pray for them and encourage them when they lose their job. They're homeless. And we need to reach them. That's Judah. That's Bandera County. And we do a good job in the physical aspect of this. I mentioned to the 8:30 service, we have this great ministry, this harvest ministry. Love it. Love it. I've driven with them a couple times to pick up the food. It's a great place. All this food. This is not like canned food and stuff. This is really amazing stuff that they bring to these people. And then Saturday morning, we have a different group from the church that comes in and hands it out to people as they come to the church to get it. But did you know that as a part of that program, there's also the ability to have mentors for each family? The church that is in this ministry can have a mentor for each family that's there for them, praying for them, talking to them, inviting them to church, being there for them. And we don't do that. Why? Because we are just like most churches. We're really good at doing the physical stuff, but we get nervous with the spiritual stuff. We get nervous with the relationship building. That's one example. Bandera County is a wonderful mission field, and it's for us. The third one is Samaria. That's a weird one. Why did Jesus choose Samaria? He could have said go to Judah and then go to Egypt or go to Greece or wherever, but he chose Samaria. What is he trying to tell us? Samaritans were outcasts. They were people that were not welcome with the Jewish people. The next group of people that Jesus wants us to go to are people that are different than us. You know, it's very easy for us to talk to people who are just like us. But God loves everybody the same. And so if we're really trying to do the Great Commission, we want to try to talk to the people that look different than us, that speak different from us, that maybe even be a little theologically different than us. You know, we're all on the same team as long as you believe that Jesus died for our sins, he physically rose from the grave, he's coming back again. If we're on the same page there, I don't care if you have a different view of baptism. You're welcome. Love you. How good are we at going through the community of Bandera and talking to the people who are a little different? What about that person that's working at your ranch and, you know, he hasn't had a shower in a month? Invite him. I mean, it'll smell worse here, but it's okay. We love him. And then the fourth one, the ends of the earth. It's interesting to me because when people think about evangelism, that's the thing that a lot of Christians go to first. We have it backwards. It's really interesting. The ends of the earth. I've pastored in church before where they have this huge missions budget. And all of that money is basically, they have the missions committee that'll get together. And all they do at this committee meeting is they decide who they want to write a check to. That's the meeting. I was like, I got some ideas. No, I'm joking. But yeah, who do we write a check to? Let's send some money to these people that are doing this here and to this doing here. And we're going to send some missionaries here and there. And please do not misunderstand me, because I know if I don't say this, somebody will take it the wrong way. I am not against overseas missions at all. Okay? There is a place in every church for overseas missions. We are called, as Jesus said, to go to the ends of the earth. But if you have never successfully had a conversation to someone in Bandera County about Jesus, do you really want to go have that conversation with someone in the Congo? I mean, think about it. If you are not motivated enough to invite someone to church here, to have a conversation about faith here, why would you go to another continent to do it? That's level 4. That's after you've talked to your family, you've done everything you can do, you've reached out, you've gone to Samaria, you've gone to all the places, and then finally you're like, God, where shall I go? Send me. You see what I'm trying to do around here? I've done all I know how to do. I'm trying. The people you've put in front of me, I'm doing my best, Jesus. Tell me where to set sail now. Right? That's when you go to number 4, the ends of the earth. sometimes we get it backwards. Sometimes we get it backwards. There are a lot of people out there in Bandera County that are spiritually lost at sea. And it's interesting as you watch it, because at the beginning, they're just right off the shore. You know, they could probably swim back. Maybe they just haven't been to church in a month. I hadn't seen them in a month, and they're just treading water out there, you know, thinking things over. They're busy, whatever it is. A couple weeks go by, they're drifting a little further from the shore. A little further. A couple months later, you can't see them anymore. And before you know it, they're lost. They're going through some things. They don't even know what they believe anymore. They can't see the shore at all. Their life is a little out of control. They're feeling pretty hopeless. But when people are lost at sea, do they still have hope? Yeah, they still have hope. Because the Coast Guard will go to them and they will throw them the life preserver. They'll get them in the boat. They will take them to safely. They will bring them back home. And Jesus is calling Bandera Methodist Church to be that Coast Guard. That is our job. When we see people flailing around spiritually at sea, we are to go to them. We are to take our resources, take our time, take our energy, take everything we have, go into the sea, leave our building, go to where they are, and bring them back into safety. The church is to go. 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 Now, the Coast Guard still needs to have a building. Coast Guard still needs air conditioning. The Coast Guard still needs a place to train. It needs a place to encourage each other. It needs a place to unwind a little bit, lean on each other. The Coast Guard needs to be equipped. It needs to know what to do when they go forward. So it needs a great facility that everybody can come to together and encourage each other and use the gifts that they have to teach and to preach and to sing and everything else. But eventually, if the Coast Guard wants to actually reach someone, you've got to get in the water. Right? There are too many churches in America that are doing everything the right way, but they're scared to get in the water. Not this one. Not this one. Over the next couple of weeks, we're going to be talking about things that this church is going to do. And I know that sounds kind of boring, right? So, it's going to be about evangelism. It's going to be about what our outreach team is doing, our hospitality team is doing. And so, listen, if you don't show up next week, I will personally know that you are against evangelism. Because you heard I was preaching about it. You're like, we can skip this one, honey. So you're going to be on the list. No, I'm joking. But it's going to be interesting because you're going to see some stuff. We're going to show some videos, some pictures, and things that we want to do in this community. So I hope you come, or at least watch online, because it's going to be very interesting. Because what I want us to do, and what our leaders want us to do, is to take the Great Commission seriously. Our leaders take it seriously. Like, they have hearts for that. You can tell. It's not just about church attendance or church budget or anything like that. They genuinely want to reach people in this community for Jesus. And so we want to be that church that works hard trying to do that. We may win some, we may lose some, we may do some things that don't work. I mean, we just want to try something and try to reach people and bring them back to Jesus, or to Jesus for the first time. That's what we're called to do. And so the end of the scripture, I love it. I think it's funny, the end of the scripture. You've probably never looked at the ascension of Jesus as comedy. But it's funny to me because Jesus is floating up into the clouds and all of his followers are standing there looking up at the clouds and they're just staring up there like, oh my gosh, look at that. And Jesus just told them, hey, you were to go to the ends of the earth. You were to go to Samaria, you were going to Judah, you were going to the ends of the earth. And I think the disciples are like, hey, Jesus, do you know how big the earth is? And Jesus is like, yes, I do. I'm way up high. I can see it. It's huge. You're going to love it. and you are going to go to all of these places. And the disciples are sitting there watching, and Jesus disappears. And I wonder how long this goes on. Because the author, Luke, says they're just watching. The angels appear behind them, and they're just looking up at the clouds. And my guess is they're like a lot of Christians today. These disciples are already thinking about the Sunday school classes they're going to have and all the different fellowship events that they're going to do. And they're looking back up, and they're like, well, we got to figure out when Jesus is coming back. I wonder what the end times are going to be like. I wonder what day this is going to happen. I wonder what this first resurrection, second resurrection means. Oh my gosh, Jesus. Oh, I wonder when he's going to come back and explain all this to us. And they're just looking, and they're looking, and they're looking. Just like so many churches around this country are still standing there looking at the clouds, trying to figure everything out in their nice, air-conditioned, comfortable buildings. And the angels are standing behind all of us, and finally the angel's like, guys, he already gave you your marching orders. Go! Don't worry about that stuff. He told you what the most important thing is. The most important, and all that other stuff I just mentioned, is not that it's not important. But the most important thing for a church, what makes a church, is that you are witnesses to Jesus in Jerusalem, in Judah, in Samaria, to the ends of the earth. So that's what we're going to do. And I really, really, really hope that you'll join me